Okay, Mitali, I'm starting then.
Yeah, please carry on.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, please.
A very good evening to everyone present today. We have reached the penultimate day of the 7-day international level online faculty development program on methodology of research in social sciences, latest innovations, organized by the Department of Education, Mrinalini Mahavidyapith, in association with our internal quality assurance cell. We have the Department of Education, Jadavpur University, and Faculty Development Center, Mizoram University, as our collaborators. We hope that this, which the endeavor we have taken up, will lead you to a new chapter of myriad questions, and may you breeze through the coming days of your life answering all of them immaculately. Now, by now, all of you are well aware of the participant instructions. I would just reiterate them in a nutshell. The platform we are using is Cisco WebEx. The entire program is being recorded. All participants are requested to keep themselves in mute mode during the entire course of the program. Use the chat box for your questions. E-certificates will only be awarded to the participants who will attend all the sessions, submit all assignments within stipulated time, and complete all necessary formalities, including the submission of the feedback form. So without much ado, we proceed to the technical session. We have two very eminent speakers as our panelists today. Our first speaker is Professor Dr. Rita Sinha Dasgupta. Professor Dasgupta is at present the professor in the West Bengal University of Teachers Training, Education, Planning and Administration. She was the former Dean of the Faculty of Education, Journalism and Mass Communication, Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta. She previously taught at DAV College of Education for Women in Amritsar, Punjab. Also taught at the MD University, Rohtak, Haryana. Also in our very own University of Kalyani, West Bengal. She has to her credit many papers published in various journals. And abroad, as in Italy, Germany, and United States, to name a few. She is the member of the Board of Studies of several universities, and it's such a pleasure to share with you that she is a recipient of Sister Nivedita Memorial Award for her book, Education at the Dawn of the New Millennium. She received the Women's Achievers Award from India International Friendship Society. On the centenary of the International Women's Day in the year 2011, she was recognized for her contribution in the field of academics by the State Bank of India, Bengal Circle. Today, she will be talking about philosophical research, qualitative research. It's indeed a pleasure to have you among us, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming and gracing the occasion. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Respected Srimati Chandrima Bhattacharya, Honorable President, Governing Body, Professor Suranjan Das, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Jadavpur University, Professor Bashav Chaudhuri, Honorable Vice Chancellor, West Bengal State University, Barasat, Dr. Apurva Bandopadhyay, Principal, Mrinalini Mahavidyapith, Dr. Mithali Gangopadhyay, Coordinator IQAC, Mrinalini Mahavidyapith, Professor Loknath Mishra, Mizoram University, and Dr. Muktipada Sinha, Jadavpur University, Dr. Dilip Kumar Mondal, Organizing Secretary and Head of the Department of Education. At the very outset, I would like to thank Dr. Apurva Bandyopadhyay and Dr. Dilip Kumar Mondal for giving me the opportunity to share my views in this 7-day international level online faculty development program on methodology of research in social sciences, latest innovations. I congratulate Faculty Development Center, Mizoram University, and Department of Education, Jadavpur University. From university several times, as I was a member of Board of Studies there. Student life colleagues from Kurukshetra University, Dr. Rampal Vadera and Dr. Banbihari Mishra were there at that time. I went to Jadavpur University many times. My student, Dr. Vishnupada Nando, is there, and I know all the faculty members of Jadavpur University. I congratulate both the universities. I congratulate all the administrative, teaching, and non-teaching staff of Mrinalini Datta Mahavidyapith. I congratulate Dr. Apurva Bandyopadhyay, the principal of this college, who is very active, dynamic, research-oriented, creative, original, unique in all his works. He is also an excellent administrator. I met him several times in this college and always found him to be very innovative in all his activities. Dr. Dilip Kumar Mondal qualified his NET set in 3 subjects: commerce, library science, and education. In 2016, he obtained rank 1 in education, rank 1 in library science, and rank 11 in commerce. He was already a college teacher at that time. His PhD work is also interdisciplinary, that is, education and library science. Research work is appreciated by many. He is a keen researcher, a prolific writer, and he published many books and research papers. He is very dynamic, intelligent, diligent, hardworking person. He works very hard and very systematic and a good organizer. During the time of COVID-19, we are unable to meet because of social distancing. He has organized this international level research program to solve this problem. He is also very computer savvy. He always abided by truth and never compromised with wrong action and always protested against it. He vehemently opposed falsehood. I feel proud to be the supervisor of such a bright and upright scholar. I knew at the time he was doing research that he will be an asset to the institution wherever he goes. So let me start my lecture. We can say that we have triumphantly entered into the new millennium and human beings at the apex of the evolutionary process on the planet Earth. He has built up super civilization with the help of research. So what is research? What is qualitative research? I will be discussing. Nation is determined by its research work. There could have been little progress in a country without systematic research. Qualitative research method originated in the social behavioral sciences. The basic concern for this type of research is clarification and assumption, speculation and reflection. Now about this slide, the general characteristics. Its emphasis is on interpretation and educational implications. The data is in the form of words, pictures, and objects. It is inductive analysis. The design emerges as the study unfolds. Thus, design is flexible in nature. Next slide. Philosophical assumptions. Paradigm means a worldview. It is an epistemological stance. The word paradigm means according to Greek philosophers. According to an American philosopher, Thomas Kuhn, 1962, paradigm means a philosophical way of thinking. Therefore, it is a worldview for undertaking a research. It is a worldview. Kuhn said that there may be paradigm shift in the field of science also, because scientific theories are also changeable and falsifiable. Next is, in the postmodernism, we can have the paradigm shift in education. Next, some assumptions of qualitative research. Some assumptions of qualitative research. Qualitative research is descriptive in nature. The process of research is inductive, and it describes the causes and implications. The emphasis is on personalized experiences. It deals with holistic approach. The assumptions include multiple mental constructions, visions, facts, and so on. The educational purpose is to understand the context in which a phenomenon takes place or identify an anticipated phenomena. It also explains the various situations in which the various types of behavior of individuals find expression. Educational purpose also includes the understanding of what things means to others. Next slide. Steps in qualitative research. The educational research may be basic or fundamental. It is basic when it results in broad generalization or principles and theories of education. Research is search for truth. First of all, the researcher has to identify the phenomena or the problem. Purposive sampling is required because the mirror of the whole with reference to a characteristics. So it must represent like a mirror. It also includes data analysis. Data analysis that is numeric information. Content analysis is the method used in qualitative research. This refers to and behavioral data to classify, summarize, and tabulate the data. The data are non-numerical and are usually in the form of words. Qualitative data analysis requires organizing, transcribing, segmenting, coding, and categorizing. Transcribing data means interim analysis, that is, ongoing and interactive process. Grounded theorists use the term theoretical saturation, which describes the situation in which understanding has reached and hence there is no current need of more data. Next is I'm discussing about memoing. Unfortunately, the human mind tends to forget much that has been experienced or observed at quite a rapid rate. He can't remember everything. He has the tendency to forget. Memoing is recording reflective notes about what is learned from data. The researcher needs to write memos when he has ideas and insights. We write down that. Memoing is the act of recording reflective notes about the data. Then segmenting. It involves dividing the data into meaningful analytical units, that is segmenting. And coding. Segmenting and coding go hand in hand. Coding is the process of making segments of data, usually text data, with symbols, descriptive words, or category or names. Then categorizing. It is the process of reducing the list of categories or themes or similar codes aggregated to form a major idea in the database. We segregate that. Drawn continuously. Next is narrative research. Narrative research deals with stories of individuals or stories told by people of a particular area. Biographical study the life experiences. For example, the life of the poets. Autobiographical or autobiography. The subject written or how the writer describes about himself or writes about himself, or you write about yourself, we write about ourselves, and so on. In life history, the entire life of an oral history surrounding people, historical document, memory, narrative transmission of culture. For example, we try to find out opinion about various people in the society, culture, and literature. For example, condition of the village people, that is oral history. Next, so qualitative research is a form of social inquiry that focuses on the way people interpret and make senses of their experience and the world in which he lives. Next slide. Qualitative research. Now it focuses on understanding from perspectives. Therefore, it is a social inquiry. It focuses on understanding from perspectives of who studied. Next slide. Qualitative research. This discusses about the usefulness, or it is useful for describing answers to questions. We have various questions in our mind. We try to answer those questions. Now, during this COVID-19 period, we have many questions. When will we be having happy time? When this disease will end? So all these are different questions. Then next is aspect of research. So here we take the interviews, and interviews are in personal form of research rather than questionnaire. Generally, we give questionnaire to the students and they give answers. But here we are giving personal attention to the person and we take the interviews. Next, unstructured interview. Now we need good command on and so on. We have to know the person about his life, and we must try to build a rapport between us and the interviewer and the person so that he is confident and he has no problem in giving answer to all the questions. He gives different types of answer, whatever he feels. Next slide. Next slide, please. Philosophy, the mother of all sciences. Philosophy, the mother of all sciences. Philosophy and empirical sciences can be complementary. I believe, I think, I feel that philosophy is the mother of all sciences. So the earlier one, philosophy is the mother of all sciences. So most of you are having PhD degrees and others are going to obtain PhD degrees like Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, Doctor of Philosophy in Maths, and so on. Because philosophy is considered the highest body of knowledge. It's philosophy of science also. In the West, philosophy and science developed almost side by side and mutually influenced each other. The relationship between philosophy and science had been so intimate in the West that one of these disciplines can be clearly understood if it is studied with reference to the other discipline. So it is the mother of science of all sciences. The major characteristics of philosophical research. The major characteristics are collection of data through primary and secondary sources. First of all, we can collect either through primary sources. Secondly, internal and external criticism of data. Third, presentation of facts in a readable form involving problems of organization, composition, exposition, interpretation, and so on. Criticism is authenticity or genuineness of data. For example, whether ink or paint or paper is of particular time or not. And internal criticism, evaluating the accuracy or worth of a document. For example, literary artifice, that is consistent facts. Then about research onion, the research by Thunders and others into to describe the stages through which a researcher must pass when developing an effective methodology. There are different layers to the research onion. The premise being that you start from the outside and peel each layer until you reach the core. Like in onion, we are peeling the layers and ultimately we are reaching the core. These layers are broken into 6 main areas: research philosophy, research approach, research strategy, research choices, time horizon, and techniques and procedures. Next slide, reflective process. Reflective process. We have beliefs and assumptions. From there, we develop research philosophy, and from research philosophy, we can go to beliefs and assumptions. Then we develop the research design, and from design, we can go to research philosophy, and from research design, we can go to beliefs and assumptions. So it is a reflective process. reflective level of learning or reflective level of teaching or reflective level of doing a research. We learn, we can have memory level understanding, then we understand a concept, then and next, project management analysis. We can take a project in education, we can analyze that. We can analyze, design, develop, evaluate, and again we analyze to find out that whether we can improve that or to find out whether if there is any deficiency like that. And it's a continuous process of evolving. Next is, next slide. Points like topic, gather background information, locate your sources, evaluate your sources, cite your sources, define your topic. Again, after defining the topic, we can think of changing it. Again, we gather background information and so on. So it is a continuous process. Next, please. Writing process. So first of all, we plan for a research. Then data, research and collect. Then structure, write, revise, edit, test, publish, and plan, and again. So it is also a continuous process. We can improve our research. We can think whatever is true today may not be true tomorrow. So we continuously go on doing research. Next, qualitative research process. Qualitative process, we identify phenomena of interest, know background, research questions, philosophy foundation, study design, sampling, legal ethical, pilot study, data collection, data analysis, literature review, finding, limitations, conclusions, identify phenomenon of interest, and in this way we can go on continuing research. Next slide. The research. First of all, we think and plan, then discover, then gather and analyze, then write and publish. We share that with others, and also impact of that. We can take opinions from others, the criticism from others. In this way, the cycle also goes on for improvement of the research. We can improve our research and work further into different components by this cycle. Then research process. We explore background, develop topic, find sources, evaluate sources, use and cite sources, create new knowledge. Create new is very important. Creation of new knowledge, development of new knowledge, discovering of new knowledge, innovation of knowledge. This is need of the hour. So unique attributes of qualitative research are absence of absolute truth, importance of context, importance of meaning, participant researcher relationship, types and issues, questions, research as instrument, flexibility of design, research skill set, unique online and mobile capabilities, then messy analysis. There can be messy analysis, and after that, we again try to find out the truth. So this absolute truth. The idealists say that there is absolute truth, absolute goodness, absolute beauty, but other isms like pragmatism. They say, no, there is no absolute truth, and so on. So finding the absolute truth in research, there is absence of absolute truth. That is why we go for research. So there is a quest for and a reflective process. We experience from our observations, from our reflections, we make planning. From our planning, we plan a research, then we experience, then we observe, and then we reflect. So we analyze our concept, arguing for internal and external distinctions, that is descriptive and diagnostic method, or it is deconstructive method. Second is deconstruction of a term or a concept. Here is identifying the internal contradictions, is critical method. Then there is third one is exploration of the hidden assumptions of a theory or a system. By holding these assumptions, we do research, deconstructive and critical method. Fourth is critical review of a specific argument, that is by identifying informal fallacies, commitment to logical strategies. There can be various other researches also, like questions of a particular educational practice or policy by examining classroom practices, normative method, etc. For example, we are now having the new educational policy. So we can study about that policy and find out what are the demerits, or earlier we had why new policy, because there might be some demerits. So that is why we are having the new policy of education. Sixth one is purpose. By finding out benefits, method applied to philosophical thought, this is purpose. The speculative or speculate, this is seventh one. By speculating alternative system, that is speculative method. That means we speculate, we think over a problem, we ponder a problem. Eighth one is imaginary situation. By analyzing and modifying it. So our thought experiment method is there. We analyze a problem, try to modify it, try to change it, try to develop it. So one is imaginary situation. Ninth, keenly going through a philosophical text. That means by deeply reading a philosophical text. So philosophy. And 10th one is synthesize. By synthesizing research, that is synthetic method. So these are the 10 methods. So I can give you an example so that you will be able to understand what philosophical research is. Supposing we want to study the life, for example, philosophy of Tagore, philosophy of Gandhi, philosophy of Whitehead, philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, and so on, about many philosophers. Or we can compare to philosophers. For example, we can compare the educational philosophy of Rabindranath Tagore and Alfred North Whitehead. So first point is, common in them is Rabindranath Tagore, the great Indian poet, was born on 7th May 1861 at Jadavpur, Kolkata. Alfred North Whitehead was born on 15th February, again in 1861, like Tagore, at Kent, England. Both of them were born in 1861, so they were contemporaries. Now, Whitehead's grandfather, father, uncle, and brothers were in the field of education, religion, and administration. Tagore died in the year 7th August 1941, and Whitehead died on 30th December 1947. Secondly, the various influences on their personalities. We can write in this way, we can analyze in this way, that what were the various influences on their personalities. Tagore was influenced by the Vedas, the Upanishads, classical Sanskrit literature, Buddhism, the Bhakti movement, Sufism, Baus, and Brahmo Samaj. Whitehead, on the other hand, was influenced by Plato, Aristotle, Wordsworth, Leibniz, Hegel, and so on. Various scientific experiments and theories and laws were Whitehead studied all this, and he was also influenced by this because he was basically a mathematician. Tagore was a poet and Whitehead was a mathematician. Even then, they had parallel educational ideas. Whitehead was influenced by Newton, the quantum mechanics of Heisenberg, the theory of relativity of Einstein, etc. So he Newton's laws of motion, the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, like we cannot understand or interpret exact position and momentum of a particle simultaneously. He was also influenced by these things. In this third chapter, we can write the worldview or the philosophy of Tagore and also the philosophy of Whitehead. For example, worldview of Tagore about ultimate reality, individual self, nature, cosmic harmony, theory of humanism, ethics, aesthetics. Tagore found that there is a balance, harmony, symmetry in the entire universe. And he said that if we try to disturb this balance, if we try to disturb this harmony, then there will be a problem. So he predicted long back that ecological harmony must be maintained throughout the universe. The worldview of Whitehead gave emphasis on creativity, theory of civilization. His theory of civilization includes adventure. In the adventure, he also said about peace, truth, beauty, wisdom. And Whitehead said that philosophy begins in wonder. Whenever we are that how the flower is blooming, how we are having so many theories, how the apple is falling from the tree. He was also thinking that everybody saw that apple is falling from the tree, but it was only Newton who could say that it is because of the gravity. So it is through his reflective process, through his reflection. Now, if we take next, we take the educational ideas. Ideas of Tagore is centered around creativity, freedom, harmony, activity, rhythm, aesthetic aim, and so on. He also developed a school at Shantiniketan, which later on became the university. So here he said that in this ashram, East and West will meet in a singleness. So these are his concept of harmony, international harmony, all these things. Tagore kept his nationalism within the proper framework of internationalism. And educational ideas of Whitehead. He also gave emphasis on creativity, knowledge, values, aesthetics, stages of education. He said there are different stages of education. First is stage of romance. That means we are surprised to see the beauty of the universe, romance. Then stage of precision, we become precise. Then stage of generalization, we generalize that this is the truth, this is the law, this is the theory, this is the theory of knowledge, and so on. Now, who are the contemporaries of Tagore? Tagore had parallel ideas. His ideas resemble those of Sri Aurobindo, Gandhi, Vinoba Bhave, and so on. And Whitehead's educational ideas had resemblance with Gottschalk, McKinnon, Frank Baron, and so on. Both Tagore and Whitehead's ideas have relevance even today, like creativity, creation of we give emphasis on creation of knowledge. Creativity, freedom, we give emphasis on freedom. Free, and you widen the horizons of his life. Restrict freedom, then he will be contracted, because creativity flourishes if proper freedom is given. If it is nurtured, it will thrive and flourish. And if creativity is oppressed, if it is suppressed, it will decline and wither away. So today we give emphasis on freedom, creativity, ecological harmony, and the four pillars of education. That means the learning to know, the learning to do, the learning to live together, the learning to be, the learning to know, not only information, just like we press, we get instant coffee, instant tea, instant cold drinks. Similarly, by pressing the button of a computer, we can find instant information. But knowledge should not be lost in information, and wisdom should not be lost in knowledge. So this is about learning to know, then learning to do. Action is needed. Theoretical knowledge is not sufficient. Then learning to be together, live together. We must be living in harmony with other persons and learning to be. Be like a human being. We cultivate all the values like learning to be. So both of them believed in higher level of consciousness. Through eyes, ear, nose, touch, etc., we learn through our senses. And human beings have the ability to go upward. The earlier slide, please, the earlier one about telic theory. Telic, that means telic one. Next slide. There is one goal, and activities, four types of activities are there, and activity centered is four types of goals are there, and there is a harmony between the goal and activity. So both of them, Tagore and Whitehead, gave emphasis on learning through senses. Now I am quoting two lines from the Upanishads. Ananiyan mehat mahiyan atvasya janto nihito guhiyan tamakratu pashyati vito shoko dhatu prasadan mahiman matman, which means eternal energy is contained in particles smaller than the smallest, in the same way as it is contained in things bigger than the biggest. Another two lines from the Upanishads. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnartu Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate, which means infinity plus infinity is equal to infinity, infinity minus infinity is equal to infinity. Tagore was influenced by this concept and he has written in Bengali, সীমার মাঝে অসীম তুমি বাজাও আপন সুর আমার মধ্যে তোমার প্রকাশ তাই এত মধুর. Swami Vivekananda was influenced by this concept of Upanishad and he has given the definition of education. Education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. Manifestation is there, but it is in hidden form, in sleeping form, in dormant form, in latent form. Education, manifestation of the perfection, we have to develop it, we have to nurture it, we have to enhance it. Similar ideas in Urdu, one Urdu शेर, खिरदमंदों से क्या पूछूं कि मेरी इब्तिदा क्या है, कि मैं इस फिक्र में रहता हूँ कि मेरी इंतहा है, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. Khiradmand means what should I ask the individuals, that what is my origin and what about my culmination. Iqbal says whatever creative potential is there in you, which is in dormant form, in hidden form, in latent form. You have to develop it, you have to nurture it, you have to enhance it, you have to cultivate it and take it to the peak, Buland. Then before deciding your fate, Khuda himself will ask you, what do you want? That means all the abilities are there in us. So during this COVID-19, I am describing a model that is Kubler-Ross model. So the fear of people when the corona count was 100, it is not there. When it is over 1.6 crore in the world. So at that time when it was 100, we were all very much worried. Initially, when I was washing everything, I thought I am suffering from, as if perhaps I am suffering from washing mania, I asked myself. And all the time, it seems that everywhere there is corona. And I am reminded that perhaps corona is saying, जहाँ जाइएगा हमें पाइएगा, अजी हमसे बचकर कहाँ जाइएगा. Answer lies in the psychological view of man. There is a philosophy called Kubler-Ross model. It is goes through any tragedy, natural disaster, accident, they pass through 5 stages. The stages are: number 1, denial and isolation; 2, anger; 3rd is bargaining; 4, depression; and 5th is acceptance. We accept the situation. First, denial, refusal to believe such a thing will happen, ever happen. For example, we all denied that corona will come to us. Even if it comes, repeated denial that it will not spread to our place due to the hot climatic with this. Then second is anger. We became angry over the situation that this corona is spreading. For example, anger over loss of income and the loss of normal life and due to lockdown and so on. Third is depression. It happens like this that and one goes to mental pressure and depression. Old and ailing people, they are having this geriatric problem, as if they will lose everything if they have this problem of corona. बुढ़ापे की लाठी कौन? बच्चे या pension या बचत, our savings? Will our children look after us, or whatever we have saved, or our pension? They are all the time they are depressed and worried. Then bargaining, inwardly lamenting that corona may not have come and there would have been a lockdown at all. If there was no lockdown or corona, I would have come to the college and not to distance mode. So we have searched for an alternative, that online teaching courses, online seminars called webinars, and so on. Then 5th stage is acceptance. The last stage, the other way around, is to accept it. Example is we become used to live with corona. These 5 levels are not limited to corona only. It applies to all the problems in human life. So what will the wise persons do? Going straight from the 1st level to the 5th level, he will set to make next steps to progress in life. So in this way, he can have this positive outcome. Then I am discussing about the telic theory. The world is teleological in nature. Teleology means that the world has been constructed in a purposeful telic rather than a chaotic manner. Education is needed to perform the telic function. So Professor Ajit Kumar Sinha in his book Philosophy of Health and Medical Sciences writes, health and medical sciences of crucial importance for the physical well-being and mental balance of a people on the global scale. These sciences are of fundamental importance in contemporary period because civilized society have considerably polluted the environment by industrial pollutants, nuclear radiations, pesticides, fungicides, noise, and e-waste. The environmental pollution is causing grave health scale. population explosion, overcrowding, malnutrition, growing poverty, filth, dirt, and associated flies, virus, bacteria are posing grave problem, ill health. So Professor Sinha further writes, a normal healthy person, a sane person has the predisposition to think positive. Positive thinking leads to expansion of consciousness. So we have to think of various problems and how to overcome those problems. If we have to live with corona, we need to increase our immunity. Every individual is needed to develop his immunity and capacity, because with the human passage some people are saying that the wild virus becomes weak and it is called taming of viruses. So we whole we must be able to go there. So healthy habits and positive thinking are need of the hour. Research work can thus become panacea of all troubles. Let us hope that we live in a healthy, happy, and peaceful world in near future. And vigorous research work done by dedicated, devoted, determined, and dutiful researchers. So there is a goal. So I am quoting, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapte Varan Nibodhata. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. In Urdu, मिले न जब तक निशान मंजिल कदम बराबर बढ़ाए जाना, अगर तेरे हौसले न सहमे तो कुछ नहीं गर्दिशे ज़माना. Thank you. Like that for a
Thank you so much, ma'am. This has been such an enlightening session. If you could read through the chats, you would see our participants were so overwhelmed by your presentation. And for me, it was a class of social science, a class of philosophy, a class of literature, where you touched Tagore, you touched Iqbal. We could hear such wonderful lines, sher, shairi, everything. Thank you so much. To just jot a few points in a nutshell, ma'am spoke to us about general characteristics of qualitative research, philosophical assumptions, assumptions of qualitative research, steps in qualitative research, what is narrative research, nature of the research, the philosophy, which is the mother of all sciences, project management, and so forth and so on. And she used the great Rabindranath Tagore and Aurobindo and so many other myriad-minded people as examples. We have been enlightened, we have been enriched. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, do I take a question? There has been an overlapping question from Shayantoni Odhikari and Shulagna Chatterjee. Both of them wants to know, they're in fact requesting you to repeat the 10 methods once again. The 10 methods.
10 methods.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me find her.
Just, ma'am, if you can just mention the name of the methods.
Okay, okay. Yes. First one, analyze a term or concept. So this includes arguing for internal and external distinctions, that is descriptive and diagnostic method. Second is deconstruction of a term or a concept, that is identifying internal contradictions, that is critical method. Third is exploration of the hidden assumptions of a theory or a system. By holding these assumptions, we deconstruct a problem and we try to again reconstruct that problem and through critical method. Fourth one is critical review of a specific argument by identifying formal or informal fallacies. Formal fallacies can be there, informal also there. So commitment to logical strategies, logic, to logical thinking, rational thinking, critical thinking, we can develop, find out the method. Another one is question or particular educational practice or policy by examining in classroom practices. We can examine the classroom practices normative method. We can study about our new educational policy also here. Then purpose, by finding out benefits, methods applied to philosophical thought. Philosophy always is having a purpose. What is the purpose of that? Why are we doing research on philosophy? Why? So on. Then speculate. By speculating alternative system, that is speculative method, pondering over a problem, thinking over a problem. The philosophers, they speculate. We speculate on a thing. We are thinking and thinking, inward thinking, why is this happening? Why can't we find a path? So that is speculation. Then imaginary situation, by analyzing it, by modifying it, through thought experimentation process, through our experiment, we can experiment through our thoughts. That is imaginary situation we analyze. Then ninth one is keenly growing through a philosophical text. By deeply reading a philosophical text, deeply we go through a text and we find out the content, the philosophy of that person. We can also think of philosophy of our life. What is our philosophy? Then synthesize. 10th one is synthesize. By synthesizing research, that is synthetic method.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, do I take one more question?
Okay.
Okay, just the last question, ma'am. I would request the participants, if you have any further question to ma'am, please send it to the email in your brochure. We are going to direct it to ma'am later. Ma'am, there is one question that she wants, this is probably Mullika Dash. She wants you to throw some light on speculation. What is meant by speculating or speculation?
In fact, the philosophers, they speculate a lot. There are various things. We are speculating. Why is this happening? Why Corona has come? When will we be able to eradicate Corona? When will we find a vaccine for that? So we speculate over this. We ponder over this. We think over this. All the time we are thinking and thinking and thinking. The philosophers, they go on thinking and find the solution. Problem.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think with these words of ma'am, we have come to the end of this session. I would also like to add a very small note. Ma'am, the present social condition, the way you wrapped up the present social condition, you referred to the present social condition and you mentioned a song by Lata Mangeshkar, perhaps the one "Jahan Jayega Hame Payega," that also added a very humorous angle to this present morbid and tragic corona situation. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enlivening, enlightening, and such a wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am. We wish to hear you in future again.
Thank you.
Okay, now a very small but an important announcement for our dear participants. Participants, you know that tomorrow also we have two eminent speakers, one among them being Professor Ashish Srivastav, who is going to talk to you about curriculum design and content development related to MOOC, the massive online open system. So he has asked you to connect us with the help of a laptop or your desktop. Probably he will be setting some practical things where he will be asking you to work upon it. So if you could please join us with the help of your laptop or your desktop. Thank you so much. Do we have our IQAC coordinator?
Yes.
Mitali?
Yes.
Mitali? Okay. I'm handing over the mic to Mitali then.
Thank you so much, Professor Rika Dasgupta, for your such a wonderfully lucidly presented deliberation, ma'am. We are honored, ma'am, that you could spend some time with us because I know you are one of the guiding stars of Mrinalini Dr. Mahavidyapith. The way you always guide the education department. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for being here with us. Um, uh, Dear participants, I have a small announcement to make. Um, I know that tomorrow is the last day of our FDP, and we believe that you have actually enjoyed listening to all the speakers, all the resource persons. But at the same time, we must also acknowledge, accept that it has been a little strenuous for you, three lectures back to back. And that is why tomorrow, which is the last day of our FDP, we have decided to organize a very small cultural program. I have already told you about this. And we had requested that anyone who wants to, perform something, whether it's a recitation or it's a song or it's any kind of an instrument, playing an instrument, we had asked them to record it in a video clip and send it to us. We are very happy that we have received a few responses from you, and we shall definitely try and play them tomorrow. But at the same time, I would also like to say, if there is anyone of you who wants to perform live online, you can also do it tomorrow. You can share your experiences of the FDP with us live, or if you want, you can also sing or maybe recite a poem. But kindly do send your name to us, to Dr. Mondal, whether on WhatsApp or through a mail by 10 p.m. tonight, so that we get sufficient time to make preparations. We shall be really, really glad if you respond and if you participate in this cultural program. Because we want to make this cultural program a very, very pleasurable experience for all of us here. Thank you, and over to you for the next lecture.
Thank you, Mitali. Has our next speaker joined, Dilipda?
Yes. Yes,
Dr. Debashish Vishwas is here?
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay. Then I'm continuing with the program. Our next speaker for today is Dr. Debashish Vishwas. Good evening, sir. He is presently serving as an assistant professor and head in the Department of Business Administration, Vidyasagar University, West Bengal. His area of research was productivity and industrial relations. He has taught postgraduate students for more than 9 years. His areas of specialization are accounting and finance, human resource and marketing. Being a prolific researcher, he has contributed to 84 research papers in different areas of management in different international and national seminars. He has authored 15 books and has also contributed 14 chapters in various edited books. He is a life member of Indian Commerce Association and All India Accounting Association. He received Best Business Academic of the Year Award 2016, Bharat Vikas Award 2018 for his academic pursuits, to name a few of them. He has framed MBA, MCOM courses for distance education wing of several universities in the country, has successfully guided PhD scholars and shared a prestigious position in the editorial board of AR Research publication. Now, all of us associated with social sciences know that Dr. Debashish Vishwas is a name in statistical package for social science, which we call SPSS. Today, sir will be taking 2 sessions consecutively. We are lucky enough that sir has consented to give us so much of time from his daily schedule. I am announcing the title of the first session, if sir permits or allows me. After the conclusion of his first session, I will rejoin and also give you the title of his second session. The first session goes, title of the first session goes like this: SPSS, analysis of variance and multivariate analysis of variance. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you. So may I audible to all the participants?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, yes. So madam has told you to give me lectures on analysis of variance and multivariate analysis. But whatever the topics have been given to me, I think that it should be started. So first of all, in the first session, I will cover chi-square test as well as T. And in my second session, I will cover ANOVA and multivariate analysis, that is MANOVA. So if madam permits me, then I can start from chi-square test.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are the best judge as to how you should proceed. We are just all learners. So
Okay, thank you.
the
Thank
way
you,
we
madam.
had it published, I just announced it that way.
Yeah,
As it suits you, sir, as you deem fit, you being an authority of this subject and the best judge. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. So it should be the interactive session. If any participant has any query, then obviously I will take all the query after my first session. And accordingly, after the completions of my second session, I will also accept various queries placed by my participants. So this is the 6th day of the FDP at international level. So I am lucky enough to get this ample opportunity to this very significant platform in the domain of research in social science. So first I will start with chi-square test and how this test can be applied in a social science field, and when a researcher can determine at what situation the chi-square test will be applied. So first is when chi-square test will be applied, and to determine the chi-square test, what type of data that we should have in our hand before the analysis. So in that way, we will discuss, and after this session, then my participants will be understood in a very crystal clear way when chi-square test they will apply in the social science. So chi-square test, the conditions for application, you can also note down it when we are considering two variables. Your idea is clear what is variable. I am not going to that discussion because this is the 6th day. So when we are considering two variables, and all the variables, all these two variables are categorical in nature. I'm repeating it. We are considering two variables, and all these two variables are categorical in nature. Categorical in nature means this is nominal variable. Nominal. That means we can identify it. Just I'm giving you one example so that it will be clear to you what is categorical variable, and sometimes it is called as nominal variable. So just I'm giving you one example, gender. If I say gender, then we can classify it into some categories. Some male, some are female, some are transgender. In this way, we can classify the variable. So only we are identifying it. That's why it is called categorical variable. Suppose you are classifying the area into two segments. One is rural and another one is urban. In this way, if classification is met, if we can classify accordingly, then it is called categorical variable or nominal. So for the application of chi-square test, all the variables must be categorical in nature, not other things. Only you are concentrating on category. Giving one practical example, what type of research can be done using chi-square test in our social science? Suppose, as a social science researcher, I am very much interested to know, is there any connectivity between smoking and gender? Just listen minutely. Whatever the case study I am mentioning here, being a researcher, suppose we are very much interested to know, is there any relation, is there any connection between gender and the smoking? So if this is the research case, then first we have to identify the variables. One is gender, that can be classified into two categories. One is male, another is female. So when we are classifying it, then it should be coded numerically. Otherwise, we cannot do any sort of analysis. It should be numerically expressed. Suppose male is coded by 1 and female is coded by 2. So I have collected the responses of suppose 100 students. Some are male students, some are female students. So in the SPSS window, I have just written either in 1 or 2. If it is male, then I will write 1. Several times 1 will come and several times 2 will come. So this is one categorical variable, that is gender. And another categorical variable is smoking. Suppose we can classify in this way, some are non-smoker, some are smoker, some are occasional smoker or chain smoker, anything, any way you can classify it. It's not necessary that it will be always in 2 into 2 matrix form. That means we are classifying gender into 2 categories, and that's why we have to also classify the smoking habit into 2 categories. No, this is not the hard and fast rule. You may classify as per your choice. It might be 2 into 2 matrix, it might be 3 into 3 matrix, 2 into 3 matrix, 3 into 2 matrix, 4 into 4 matrix, anything, any way you can classify. But before applying chi-square test, you must be sure that your all variables should be categorical. So for the simplicity, we are considering the case of 2 into 2 matrix. That means we are classifying gender into 2 categories. One is male, another is female. We are also classifying the smoking that is also under two categories. One is some are smoker and some are non-smoker. And that is also denoted by 1 and 2. This is if you are a smoker, then it will be denoted by 1. If you are non-smoker, then it will be denoted by 2. In this way, we have to classify our variables. Then we can apply chi-square test. And why chi-square test is applied? Now, if the nature of data set is categorical, and if we want to know any sort of connectivity, any sort of connection, any sort of any degree of relations between two categorical variables, then in that particular case, chi-square test is to be applied. There is no substitute test of chi-square. So after this, is it clear to you? Then we will go to mathematical analysis or statistical analysis, taking a very interesting case study into this analysis. Anyone?
Yes, sir. Our participants in the chat box are already telling that you can proceed because they have understood.
Okay, thank you.
Writing,
Thank
yes, sir. Yes, yes.
you. Okay, okay, thank you. So now we are taking one particular example, and before giving analysis, I'm just giving you some sort of case, another type of case, which is very interesting, and it is very popular case study. That is the lion and dance. We are trying to train some lions, and there are two techniques that we are adopting. One is we can give some affection to the lion, we can love to the lion, or we give some food to the lion. So after serving food, then we are observing whether the lions are dancing or not. Just try to understand. We are serving food and we are observing how many times the lions are dancing and how many times we are serving food although the lions are not dancing. In the same way, we are loving the animals, we are giving some full sort of affection to them, then sometimes they are dancing and sometimes they are not dancing. Now, being a social researcher, we are very much interested to know what types of training program should be very much suitable for the training to our lions so that they can dance, right? So whether the affection in one hand, in another hand, we are taking one side food, another side we are taking affection. Now we are trying to estimate which type of training technique is very much suitable in this case. That type of case study we will now look into. So I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, data has been already fitted. Otherwise, we'll take maximum time. That's why we have already fitted the data. And this is the version 22 of SPSS. And now just you observe, this is the variable. And if you go to this area, then what you are observing, 1 denotes food and 2 denotes affection. So this is one type of categorical variable. Sometimes we are giving food to the lions and we are observing whether the lions are dancing or not. Sometimes we are giving affection and after that we are observing whether lions are dancing or not. So all this data have been denoted, have been coded by 1 and 2. In the same way, whether they are dancing, then it will be coded by 1. If the lines do not dance, then it will be coded by 2. In this way, we have taken the data set. And also you observe here, the level of measurement scale is nominal. That means categorical. In our SPSS, there are 3 types of scale. One is categorical, that is nominal. The second one is ordinal. And third one is scale. Scale means ratio or interval. So here my variables have been measured using nominal scale because 2 variables are categorical in nature, right? Now we are going to data view, and after that in our SPSS, when we are running any analysis, some sort of commands that you must know, because without giving any command, the SPSS will not provide you any result. That's why if you go for practice and practice, then one time will come, you will be the master of SPSS. And if you do not practice, then all things you will forget within a very couple of days. This is also my practical experience. Right. So first is we must go to the analyze, and I will provide you the notes. Don't worry, just you observe it, right? So first we'll do analyze, then descriptive statistics. First we'll go to analyze, then descriptive statistics. As the data is categorical, remember that as the data is categorical, therefore we will always select these option cross tab. In other cases, we will go for explore, sometimes we will go for frequency, sometimes we go for descriptives, but this is the first case. When your 2 variables are categorical, then you must choose cross tabs for the better comparison purpose. So we are doing cross tabs. Now we just click here. Now there are 2 windows. One is row, another is column. You may drag any one of the variable to either row or column. There is no hard and fast rule. This is not like that. Training will be always placed in row and dance is always placed in column. No. Anything you can do. You may do it in a reverse way. The result will be same. So for this purpose, don't worry about it. Your variables are categorical. 2 categorical variables are there. 2 variables will be placed, one in row and another one will be in column. So we are putting training. Just you click here, it will automatically come to the row box. If we here comes, here automatically it will come to column. Now we will not go for all options. Whatever the option is required, only we will click on that particular option. And you will also write down the comment so that in the near future, when we are going to run this type of analysis, the similar type of analysis, then you just follow whatever the comments you have written in your notes. So go to statistics. Go to just statistics. Clear? And when we are coming to statistics, then our objective is to chi-square test, to conduct chi-square test. So you just observe the chi-square option is available. Because if your command is right, obviously you will find the correct option, otherwise you will not go to the correct option, will not get the correct option. So it is chi-square. Right. You can choose. This option is very, very important option. This is called phi or phi and Cramer's V. Now the question is, sir, we have give a tick mark to the chi-square because we are conducting chi-square test. So why are you giving tick mark to phi and Cramer's V? The basic objectives of conducting or observing the result of phi and Cramer's V is for observing the effect size, the size of the effect. If I say there is a relation, now second question will come, whether this relation is very bold relation, robust relation or not. Whether the relation is there, yes, the chi-square test will be tell you whether the relationship is existing or not. But side by side, we will also check the value of phi and Cramer's V, so that we can estimate, we can observe the strength of the relation, the effect size of the relation. And thumb rule says that if you go to different type of books, then you will see that if the value of phi and Cramer's V, if it is 0.15, if it is 0.15, or if it is more than 0.15, that means the effect size is large. That means they have very strong connectivity, strong relations between two variables, between two categorical variables. That's why we will also observe the value of phi and Cramer's V in this case. So we are just clicking phi and Cramer's V. Then we click just continue, otherwise we cannot move to the other option. Therefore, always you have to press the continue button. Then again, you will be different types of choice box. So first we have taken this box, now we are taking sales. And why we are accepting the sales command? In order to count the frequency. Only to count the frequency. If you do not choose this option, there will be no problem to conduct the chi-square test. But being a researcher, every time we have to enrich ourselves by giving the full report, giving our full observation to a particular case, that means to a particular problem which is connecting to our society. So that's why we are just clicking expected and we are keeping row. We are just giving click to the two options. One is expected, another is row. You can also click on column, you can also click on total, right? So you click and you may give also your trial at your home. What is happening? So if you click several options daily, then you will learn some new things from it. And if I say that always click on row and expected, and your mind will be just blocked. Yes, Sarah has told only give tick mark to expected and row. No, never like this. You may click any other option and you may check what is going on, what is happening. So in this way, you can enrich yourself day by day. So now again we are giving continue. Right now, OK button, then you will get result from your analysis. So analysis will be going on and the result will be coming out using this SPSS. Just you observe the entire details you will get from square test. So never you will be worried that you are applying chi-square test. That means your research is not very qualitative. No, chi-square is a very important tool. You can do several types of research using chi-square technique, but you must understand where the chi-square will be applied in our social science. I am giving one or two examples, but more examples are there. You just think which can be classified into category. There you can think for chi-square test. So what we are observing, we are considering 150 cases. That means 150 respondents. The size of the respondent is 150. That means we have observed the 150 lions in our study. In our study, we have considered 150 lions. Now you coming to the second table, what types of information it is giving? The training method, either you are serving food to the lions or you are giving affection to the lions, right? So 30 times you have given food to the lions, 30 times. Now out of these 30 times, 20 times the lions dance and 10 times the lions do not dance. Clear? The result is showing that out of 30, 20 times the lions have danced and 10 times the lions did not dance. So now if you come to the percentage, that is 66.7%, that is the percentage of dancing of lions, and the rest percentage indicates the non-dancing of lions. And if you give the affection, 1 plus 20 times you give affection to your lions, but what you are observing, 45 times the lions, 25 cases the lions did not dance. That means the percentage of dance is very low, 37.5%. And the not dancing, the percentage is 62.5%. So in total, what we are observing, 43.3% is the dancing percentage and 56.7% is the not dancing performance of lions. So from this table, we are getting some sort of idea. What type of idea we are getting? If you correctly observe this data, then we can say that food is more effective. Food is more effective than the affection, because the percentage of dancing of lions is 66.7%, but after providing affection, the percentage of dance of lions is just 37.5%. So we can obviously say that the food can be given as a token to the lions, so that lions can be trained up accordingly and the lions can show their better performance as far dance is concerned. So this is our observation from the table, but the question is no one will accept your observation. Otherwise you have to present your chi-square test, the result chi-square test, so that your difference, whatever the difference you are observing from that table, it should be confirmed by your statistical test. So now we are coming to the result of chi-square test. Just you will observe the first value of Pearson chi-square. This is the value. You will not go to observe the other values, right? You will just observe the first value. The value is 8.314. Value is not very much important, but what is important in this case? The probability value is more important. So anything you can get the value over here, but the basic is you have to look into the value of P. That means the probability value. Always these value will be used in our research. What is the value? 0.004. This value should be compared with the standard value of P. What is the standard value of P? At 95% confidence level, the probability value is 0.05. But your P value is less than 0.05. That means whatever result you have got from this table, the result is significant. That means we can say that yes, there is a significant difference between two training methods. One is food, another is affection. There is a significant difference. If we give food as a training technique, then we'll get the better result rather than affection. Now the question is whether the effect size, whether the relation, whether the significant difference, whether it is large or small. We will come to the next table, and in the next table, what we are observing, the value of P and the value of commas V. These two values must be observed. The value of P and the value of commas V, all these values are greater than 0.15. This is the standard value, 0.15. That means we can say that the effect size is large in this case. So this is all about chi-square test and its application. Now we'll go for another test, that is t-test. So is it clear to all my participants? Anyone, please?
Yes, sir. Yes. I'm already
Yes.
saying it is absolutely clear. And you have plethora of applause. All of them are telling it's very enriching. It's very
Thank you, madam.
enlivening for all of them. Sir, I have certain questions, 2-3 questions, not more than that, about this particular chi-test area. Do I ask it to them? To you just now?
Yes.
Or will come afterwards? Okay.
No, you can ask me, and I will clarify it, and after that I will go for another
The
test.
p-test. Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, sir, there is something very interesting which I noted this time, that some participants are answering the question of other participants among themselves. You have been so lucid that while you are explaining things with the help of this table, they are getting and framing their answers themselves. I'll give you an example as Humayra Khatmi, who is a very, very responding participant as far as the entire program is concerned. She has been questioning us from the very beginning. She asks, sir, when to use ordinal and interval scale? And we have Dr. Kuheli answering, one has to be very thorough of scale to know which scale to use. Sir, if you want to add something to that.
Yeah. So this is the problem of scaling. This is the fundamental problem. Basically, in our Spss statistics, we always consider 3 types of scale, not more than 3 types of scale. One scale is nominal scale or categorical scale, that I have already explained in this test. And another type of scale is called ordinal scale. Ordinal scale is used only to take the perception of the respondents. Examples is Likert 5-point scale, Likert 7-point scale, Thurston scale, Stephen scale. Many type of scales are there. But when we are using all this type of scale, basically we are dealing with ordinal data set. Right? This is not categorical. This is not ratio or interval. And except nominal scale and ordinal scale, whatever the measurement you are using, all are scale. There is no problem, right? So in case of t-test, I will clarify it, because in this case we will use another type of measurement scale, right? So chi-square is based on categorical scale, but independent t-test or any other type of t-test In that case, the measurement scale will be different. So I will discuss right now.
Sir, the next question again from Shayantani Odhikari, where we
Yeah.
have Shunipa Ghosh Dostidar answering to her question. She asks, please repeat why we have to choose the cell. And Shunipa answers, telling to count the frequency. If you would
Yes.
add something to it, sir.
Absolutely right. To count the frequency so that we can at least get a primary idea, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sir,
thank you.
another question from Humaira. This is the last question I'm taking in this section.
Yeah.
How can someone get access to SPSS software as an individual?
That is a very difficult question, right? So whatever the software I am using right now, basically this is not also I have purchased, right? So you have to manage it. Piloted version is available, and the person who is very much expert in IT field, they can know how to extract the cracked version, right? Thank you.
Okay, sir. We can proceed. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So next test is independent t-test, and first give you introductions why independent t-test should be applied and what are the conditions so that we can apply independent t-test. So for your better understanding, I would like to say that there are three types of t-test. There are three types of t-test. But for our social science research, we generally use two types of t-test. So that's why we are not using three types of t-test. We will discuss two types of t-test. You may also note down. First, I will clarify the difference between two types of test, and after that, I will conduct the test so that you can understand it. Generally, there are two types of t-test. One is called independent t-test. This is self-explanatory word, independent t-test. So when we are conducting independent t-test, the specific answer is if we have two different sets. What I'm trying to say, if we have two different of data set, sample set, just I'm giving you one example so that it will be clear to you. Suppose we are talking about salary of teachers in private concern, and what you observe there, males teachers are getting salary and female teachers are also getting salary. But being a researcher, interested to know a significant difference between the salary between male and female teacher of various private institutes. That is the query into our mind. So when this type of query comes into our mind, that means we are considering two different samples. One sample stands for male and another sample stands for female. So many examples are there. You may also compare private firm and public firm. You may compare rural people and the choice of the urban people. So private versus public, rural versus urban, male versus female, or we can understand in this way, in our college, in our university, in a particular department, there are two categories of student. One is male, another is female. Now, you have published the result, semester result. Then being a researcher, you want to know, you are very much interested to know whether my male students' performance is better in this semester or my female students' performance is better in this semester. Is there any significant difference between male and female students as far result is concerned? So just you think, we are considering two groups. Two groups are separate from each other, but listen minutely, but the common thing is called dependent variable. The common thing is called, that is the result. Suppose one student has got 500 out of 600, another student has got 50 out of 600. So we are just recording all the results of, suppose, 40 students. And out of these 40 students, 20 male, and suppose 20 are. So male, female, that is called categorical variable. That I have already explained in the chi-square test. But the result, the marks, this is not categorical. This is the scale. This is the ratio scale. If some students have got 0, some students have got 600, 500, 400. So this is called scale variable. So I have already told you 3 types of measurement scale. One is categorical, the second one is ordinal, and third one is scale. So it is here scale. So one side we are plotting scale variable, and another side we are plotting categorical variable. Now we are interested to know, is there any significant difference of results between two groups? Then it is a case of independent t-test. If we think in the same line, but in an enlarged way, if I think in this way, is there a difference among 3 groups? Suppose we are considering 3 groups. One is male, another is female, another is transgender. Then in that case, you have to apply ANOVA. So is it clear to you? If there is a comparison between 2 groups, then we will apply t-test. If there is a comparison taking more than 2 groups, at least we can 3, more than 2 groups, then it is a case of ANOVA. Right. So when we are trying to conduct t-test, then I have not told you anything in case of chi-square test, because chi-square test, it is not parametric or not non-parametric. But when we are discussing about t-test, specifically now we are discussing independent t-test, then first you confirmed whether your data is normal or not. Second is whether the group that you are comparing, these are homogeneous or not. So two things have to be checked. Many researchers, they do not check this type of test, and directly they apply independent. No, you cannot apply directly t-test. Why you are applying t-test? That has to be explained by. So before conducting t-test, you must ensure that your data is normal and your data is homogeneous. That means one category. Between groups, these are heterogeneous, but within group, this is homogeneous. So that has to be confirmed at first. Then you can apply parametric test. Otherwise, you cannot apply parametric test like t-test. So many students ask me, sir, in that case, what we have to do? There are so many alternative tests. It's not like that. If you are unable to perform t-test, so there is no substitute test. Substitute test, that is the non-parametric test. That is the another domain. We are not going into that domain. This is a very vast domain, non-parametric. In that case, the substitute test of independent t-test is called Mann-Whitney U-test. Mann-Whitney U-test. We are not going into that discussion. We are assuming that our data is not as well as homogeneous. Therefore, we are selecting parametric. And out of this parametric, here the suitable test is independent t-test, as we are comparing two separate groups and there is one dependent variable which is scale variable. That is the condition of applying t-test. So I am showing it so that you can understand. Yes. What you are observing, one variable is categorical. Just I am going to variable so that you can understand. Gender, that is categorical variable. Right? Sorry. We have to click here. Yes. Gender is categorical. There are two groups. One is male and other one is female. So what I have told you, one must be scale variable, right? So scale variable. So there is no classification. That's why this is scale variable. And accordingly, what sign we have used here? This is the symbol of category. Suppose there are three categories, right? That's why the symbol is for category. And there is no category. That's why the symbol is like this, scale. So in case of independent t-test, one variable must be categorical and one variable must be scale. So we are comparing two groups. That means independent t-test is nothing but we are comparing the mean of two groups. We are comparing the mean of two groups. Mean means mean salary of female and mean or average salary of male. Whether these two mean differs from each other or not. That is our concern. So I am coming to the data set. Yes. So what we are observing in our data sets, we have taken gender up to 20. That means 20 male we have considered. This is hypothetical data. This is not real data set, and we are also considering another 20, 21 to 40, another 20 are female. And after that, we have interrogated them at salary per month. It is suppose 45,000, not 45, right? 45, 46, 54. In this way, we have taken all the response from our 40 respondents. Now, before conducting any type of parametric test, we must check the normality. So how the normality will be checked? Just I am going to the analyze. Then descriptive statistics. Just to remember the previous command. Analyze, descriptive statistics. All these variables are not, both are categorical. That's why we will not choose cross-tab. We will choose explore. Right? If there is mixing, that means one is categorical and another one is non-categorical. That means our data set is mixed nature. So we cannot go for cross-tab. In that case, we will go for explore. So go to explore. So salary, it should be placed to the dependent list, right? And gender, as it is categorical, therefore it should go to the factor list. Factor means category. So salary, we are placing to the dependent list, and gender, we are placing to the factor list. Now what we are checking? Normality as well as homogeneity. So for normality checking purpose, we will choose the plot option. We choose the plot option. We will just check here normality, because our intention is to, we can opt it. Our intention is to check the normality. Data is normal or not. If our data is normal, if our data is homogeneous, then we can go for parametric test. Now we'll click on select untransform. If we select, it indicates homogeneity. So you have to click it for measuring the homogeneity, and you have to click this option for measuring the normality. Then by default you will place continue. You will not select any other options because your intention is to check the normality and homogeneity. Again I am showing, you have to go to plots, then you will see the normality as well as untransformed, then continue, then OK. Yes. What you are observing? You are observing processing summary. Male is 20, female is 20. We are considering 40, and this is the mean of male. And in the same way, I'm discussing all these things, right? Because these are the part of descriptive statistics. You have to report when you are writing the thesis, when you are writing the research paper or any research book, you must report all the descriptive statistics. But this is not my concern. I'm not discussing all these things. The mean of male is 50.90 and the mean of female is 39.40. So from this descriptive table, we are getting some sort of idea. What type of idea we are getting? Yes, there is a significant difference between male students and female students. We confirmed using independent t-test that I will show later on. So now we are checking normality as well as homogeneity. This is the box of normality, where you have to check what value you have to check. Just I'm saying, you just observe the KS statistics. Kolmogorov spin up. In short, we say KS test for male and for female. What we have to test, we have to just observe. Again, I'm saying we have to just observe the probability value, p value. So here the p value is 0.20. That means greater than our standard probability value at 5% level of significance, that is 0.05. So this value is greater than 0.05, and this value in case of female, it is also greater than 0.05. It implies that our data set is normal. Our data set is normal. Why? Because our null hypothesis, before conducting any test, you know that you have to frame a hypothesis. Here, null hypothesis is our data is normal, right? So p-value is greater than 0.5, so we cannot reject our null hypothesis. We have to accept our null hypothesis, and accordingly we can say that our data is normal. It is normally distributed, right? So if I extend my two hands, and whatever the distribution it is, that is normal distribution. Why? Because how much portion I am covering to the right side, the same portion I can cover to the left side. So if you draw a curve, then this will be just a bell-shaped curve, and that's why it is called the normal distribution curve. So on the basis of the normal distribution curve, from the result, case result, from the case result, we are sure our data is normal. Next is homogeneity. For the purpose, for the checking of homogeneity, just we check the first one based on mean. That is 1.680. This is not our concern. Our concern is to check the probability value. Here also the probability value is exceeding 0.05. That means our data is homogeneous. So from these two tables, we have to report, one is our data is normal, another is our data is homogeneous. Then we can go for parametric test. From today, you must remember that there are 4 assumptions before conducting parametric test. But out of these 4 assumptions, these 2 assumptions are very, very important ones. And another 2 assumptions are, you just try to remember, another 2 assumptions are one value and another value. Suppose I am taking salary of one teacher, and again I am taking salary of another teacher. Now these two salary value will not be dependent with one another, right? So all the values must be independent in nature. If it is dependent in nature, then we cannot conduct parametric test, right? And the 4th assumption, your dependent variable, it must be scale variable. Your dependent variable means salary. It has not been measured using categorical scale or using ordinal scale. If your variable is categorical and ordinal scale, then you cannot run parametric test. But some researchers, I will not take the name of those researchers, I will not take the name of those teachers, some suggest that you apply parametric test. but your data, your measurement scale is ordinal. So initially you are violating. You cannot. Right. So you must be very much cautious, and you must consult with your guide also sometimes before conducting parametric test. Otherwise, don't worry if your data do not take the assumptions of normality or homogeneity. Then this is not like that. You will be worried about this thing, and by forcefully you are just trying to make your data normal. No, you don't try in this way. If your data is not normal, then certain procedure is there. That is the conversion of data. Right. You can convert the data. So there are another aspects. There are certain methods. Log transformation method, inverse method, square root transformation method. And if you apply these three methods, although if your data has not been converted, then you can apply non-parametric test. Then you can apply non-parametric test. Some substitute tests are there of independent t-test as well as paired t-test, ANOVA, repeated measures ANOVA, all these things, some substitute tests are there. So I'm not considering all these things in this session. So after checking the normality and after checking the homogeneity, then we are sure our data is normal and our data is homogeneous. Then we can conduct independent t-test. How? Go to analyze. I have already told you, independent t-test is nothing but the comparison of means of two groups. Just you observe. One command is there, compare means, right? So if you come here, then what you are observing? Independent sample t-test, right? Just click it. So again I'm saying, analyze. We are trying to consider the compare means. Then we are coming to independent sample t-test. Just click here. Automatically the box will come. The test variable. What is your test variable? Salary is your test variable. Right. So salary, your test variable. You are testing the salary. You are trying to compute the mean of salary. Then gender is your grouping variable. Gender is your grouping variable. Question mark will come because you have to define your groups. So you have already defined the group. Male has been defined by 1, female has been coded by 2. Just you write down here, nothing more than that. Just you write. Group 1 is 1 and group 2 is 2. Right. Accordingly, you have been your gender has been coded. Bolo? Then continue. Okay. Then, yeah. Okay. Yes. Then result has come. Yes. Just what you are observing t-test. 20, female 20, and the mean value in case of male, it is higher than female. Right? Now we are coming to the independent t-test result. Now this is very, very vital table. Otherwise your reporting will be wrong. Some students, some researcher, they confuse whether they will observe this t-value or they will observe this. Here it is same, but in some cases this will be different. So whether they will observe this value or this value. Now what is my answer? Because your assumptions was your data was homogeneous. You have checked it. That's why equal variances assumed. Here the value is same value you got, 0.20. So you have to check this row, not this row. Clear? But remember that if this value is less than 0.05, then you will not check this row. In that case, you have to check this one. But in case of parametric test, if homogeneity assumption has been satisfied, then obviously you inspect the first row. Up the t value, right? So the t is important as well as the probability value is more important. The thumb rule is that the t value, it should be always greater than 2. Always. This is the thumb rule. This is not the scientific answer, but this is the thumb rule for your understanding purpose. And if this t value is greater than 2, automatically your probability value will be significant in nature. But sometimes you will notice that your t value is less than 2, then automatically your p value will be right. But here you have got the significant p value. That means there is a significant difference. Why? Because your null hypothesis is that there is no significant difference between the salary of male teachers and female teachers. Therefore, the alternative hypothesis is yes, there is a significant difference between male and female teachers as per salary is concerned. So, here you have to reject the null hypothesis and you accept the alternative hypothesis, and accordingly you have to report that your t value in your independent t-test is significant. Therefore, you have to reject the null hypothesis and accordingly you have to accept the alternative hypothesis, and your conclusions will be like that the male teachers, they are getting more salary in comparison to the female counterpart, and that has been also been observed from the group statistics table. And from this table you are just getting an idea, but whether it is statistically significant, difference is there, no doubt. But whether this difference is significant or not, whether this difference is statistically significant or not, for this answer, you have to rely on the probability value of t-test. In this way, you have to report after conducting t-test. Now, the second point of discussion, paired t-test. This is another type of t-test, that is the paired t-test. Now the question is there any difference between independent t-test and paired t-test? Obviously, there is a difference. I am just giving you one very interesting example. Suppose Mrinalini College, they have conducted this international FDP. Now, some participants are there. Suppose 20, 30 participants are there. Now, before joining this FDP, your knowledge about SPSS, about research methodology, suppose that has been captured. And after the completions of FDP, again the same question, suppose it will be asked to the respondents and they will give certain answer. And on the basis of that answer, then we can make a difference whether this type of international FDP program has become effective or not. So what is the uniqueness of this test? The uniqueness of this test is here there is no two group but observation is made 2 times. Here observation is made 2 times. One is before conducting international FDP conducted by Mrinalini College, and the second observation is after conducting this FDP program. That means we are observing same data set, same respondents, but in 2 different times. Right. So that's why it is called paired comparison t-test. We are comparing the pair. What type of pair? The before and after. We are just observing the effect of the treatment. So whatever the FDP program has been organized by this college, this is one kind of treatment, right? And what is your problem? You have some weakness about research methodology. So whether the treatment has become very much fruitful or not, that has to be investigated, right? So in this way, we can compare the treatment and its effect by comparing one single data set, but our observation is made in 2 different times. That's why it is called paired sample t-test. Just I am coming to the data set so that you can understand it, and after completions of my t-test, then after that I will take some query and then we will proceed further. So just I am coming to another type of test, that is paired t-test. Paired t-test, right? The paired t-test, we are just directly go to the data. What type of data it is? Very simple data. One is before, another is after. Now, the general question is, sir, whether this data is nominal or ordinal or scale. What you are observing? Here, all data before and after, these are scale data. So you are asking me, sir, how this scale data has been generated? Suppose I have taken one examination of research methodology before conducting this FDP of 20 respondents, and they have got various marks out of 50. And after the completions of FDP program, I have again conducted the test. Same question. Then some researchers, they have got different marks, and I have just plotted here. And after that, I want to observe, is there any significant difference between before and after test? Right. So that's why all the data are scale data. Generally, the question will come into your mind, sir, you have told me that. What? You have told me that, sir, before conducting parametric test, we must check normality as well as homogeneity. Yes, I have told you. But the question is that of data, then you cannot perform homogeneity test. You can only perform the normality test, because here no variable is categorical. So there is no option to conduct the homogeneity test. Therefore, you have to conduct only the normality test, and on the basis of the normality, then you have to take the decision whether you will opt for the t-test or not. T-test or any other type of parametric test or not. So just I'm going to then compare means paired sample t-test. So again, we are following the same command. First is analyze. The second is means. Name of the test is paired sample t-test. Just click here. Now what happened? Two box is there. One is variable 1, another is variable 2. Just you drag it before, then you just click it. Automatically it will be fit into the variable 1 box. And now you see it after. You just click here. It will automatically fit into the variable 2 box. Right. Now you come to the option. No need. Just directly you go to OK. Then immediately you will get result. Now what is the result we are getting here? Paired sample t-test. The mean before conducting FDP, it was 24.75, and after conducting FDP, then mean has been changed. It is quite larger than the before. So from this table, we are observing, yes, there is existence of difference, but the question is whether this difference is significant or not. That has to be checked, right? That's why we must inspect the result of paired sample t-test. What value? Now we can report the mean value. Mean value is minus 8.50. How this value has come? Before minus after. 4.75 minus 33.25. Then we are getting the mean difference before minus after, that is minus 8.50. After that, we have to report the t value. The t value is minus, so we can take the mode sign. And remember that if any t value is in the minus sign, then you immediately take the mode value of t. If you take the mode value, then minus will be converted into plus. So basically it is plus 7.963, and degree of freedom is n minus 1. N is our sample size, that is 20, and minus 1, that is 19 degree of freedom, and the probability value is significant. That means this value is less than 0.05. Therefore, we can say that yes, there is a significant difference of mean value before and after conducting the test. In this way, we can conduct paired sample t-test. Paired sample t-test. Now, I will take 1 and 2 query, and after that, we will move to the next discussion, that is on ANOVA. So, you may raise 1 or 2 questions.
Yes, sir. We have many questions at hand, but the most interesting part of your session has been, which I'm observing, that the participants are answering the questions themselves. You are going in such a lucid and scholarly manner that they are questioning and finding the answers themselves. It seems that you're sitting in a classroom and you're taking our class. A wonderful lucid session, sir. I would just take up a few questions. This one is again from Humaira Kasmi. In spite of there being 2 variables, why are we using independent t-test instead of chi-test?
Okay, the answer is very simple. Humaika, you just listen it. If the variables are categorical in nature, if 2 variables are categorical in nature, nominal in nature, in that particular test, in that particular situation, we can conduct chi-square test, right? If the 2 variables are categorical, not in other form, in that particular situation, we must conduct chi-square test. But Here, in case of the independent t-test, all are not categorical. One is continuous variable, that is the dependent variable, that is the salary. Another one is categorical variable, that is the gender. That's why we are comparing two groups. That's why we are applying independent t-test. We are not applying chi-square test, right?
Okay, sir. The next question is from someone who has been constantly herself answering many questions from other participants. It is Dr. Kuheli. She is asking, if we get 0.01, what is the conclusion or interpretation?
Good question. 0.01, it implies that 1% level of significance. 0.05, that means 5% level of significance, that is the standard limit. And if your value is 0.01, that is good. Up to 0.05, you can accept the value, right? Even sometimes at 10% level of significance, we can accept the value in some particular situation, right? So thank you for the question.
Sir, the next question is from Sulabha Chatterjee. Please, in short, explain what is homogeneous group. What is homogeneous group?
Right. Maybe homogeneous, that means similar characteristics. Suppose you are considering the male, that means there is no characteristics of female into the male counterpart. In the same way, there is no characteristics of male into the female character part. So the group may be in two types. One is homogeneous, another is heterogeneous. If some characteristics have been incorporated into the other characteristics, then it would become heterogeneous. Meaningless, right? So for comparison, two separate groups must be there, and within the groups they must be homogeneous in nature, right?
Okay, sir. Sir, the next question is Sweta Smita Soy. Is there any limitation of samples used for independent t-test?
Very good question. There is no such limitation, but the standard size in your social science research, you must consider 30. 30 is the minimum sample size, and which is suitable for independent t-test as well as paired t-test. In case of paired t-test, if you take 20, there will be no problem. But in case of the independent t-test, 30 as a sample size, right? So 30 will be the male, 30 will be the female in this way. Then your result will be robust in nature. This is the thumb rule. This is not the scientific theory.
Sir, can I take 2 more questions? Just 2 more questions.
Yes.
Okay, sir. This is from Amrita Jain. Do we use normality test or dependent items only? Do we use normality test on dependent items only?
Exactly. Very good question. She has observed. The normality can be checked on the scale data, not the dependent variable. I am not saying the dependent. I am saying if the measurement scale is scale, that means you are using either ratio scale or interval scale, then it can be checked. Then the normality can be checked on that type of data, right? It is not the question of dependent and independent. Yeah.
And the last question for this session, sir, it's from Salina Jameen. Can we use paired t-test in estimating gross domestic product?
The gross domestic product, that means the gross domestic product is one terminology. So what you are trying to say, just you have to explain. Otherwise, suppose if 2 times observation is there, suppose we are observing GDP in 2 times, then obviously we can apply paired t-test. Just you have to think. If you observe it 2 times, then it is possible. If you do not observe it, then you are not getting 2 different types of result. You cannot apply it. Yes.
Sir, there has been repetition of certain questions, and the participants themselves have also answered many. So I'm not going further into more questions. If you please continue with the session, sir. Thank you. And a gentle reminder to all my dear participants, please unmute yourself. There has been a constant disturbing sound. Please keep yourself unmuted. Thank you.
Yeah. So I will discuss about now ANOVA, and particularly all types of ANOVA. It cannot be discussed within this very sparsity of time. So I will discuss only two types of ANOVA, right? There are different types of ANOVA, but I will discuss only two types of ANOVA. One is one-way ANOVA. So if you can conduct one-way ANOVA, then you can easily conduct the two-way ANOVA, three-way ANOVA, and like this. And another is repeated measures ANOVA. Why I am considering these two things? The logic is that in case of t-test, again I am repeating it, in case of t-test, two types of tests have been shown by me. One is independent t-test. That means we consider two groups. But in case of one-way ANOVA, we will consider three groups. Right? Just parallelly, you just try to compare so that you can remember it. And the second thing, in case of pair, two times observations was there. In case of repeated measures ANOVA, repeated measures ANOVA, more than two times observation is required. At least three times observations is required. Then we can say that it is a case of repeated measures ANOVA. Right. That's why in my discussion, I am focusing only these two categories of ANOVA. One is one-way ANOVA, which is similar to the independent t-test. Another is repeated measures ANOVA, which is similar to the paired sample t-test. Only the difference is here we are considering more than two groups, and in case of repeated measures ANOVA, we are observing more than two times. That is the basic difference, and that's why we are only considering ANOVA, specifically one-way ANOVA, and repeated measures ANOVA. Just I'm going to the data set so that you can understand it. Yeah, the ANOVA, and this is the data set. Just you observe this data set. What you observe here, you are observed here. One is promotion, another is sales. Just I'm going to the variable view. In case of promotion, we have considered three types of promotion. One is high promotion, second one is medium promotion, and third one is low promotion. So how many groups have been created?
Sir, I'm very sorry to interrupt. Yeah. But are you sharing your screen, sir?
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
But the participants are telling that they're not being able to see it. In fact, we are also not being able to see the shared screen.
Oh, okay. I'm check it. 1 second. So many windows I have opened. That's why the problem is coming. Yeah, guys. Is it visible now? Not visible.
Sir,
Okay.
just click on the share button.
Yeah, I'm just.
Okay, it's visible now.
It is visible.
It's coming.
Is it visible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Now we can see. Yes.
Okay. No problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So there are two groups. two variables. One is promotion, and we have classified promotion into three categories. But in case of test, the classification was two. But in case of ANOVA, the classification is more two. High promotion, we are conducting medium promotion. Again, we are conducting low promotion. And we are the effect of promotion on cells, right? So here cells is dependent variable or cells is scale variable, right? Measurement is scale. So one is categorical, another one is scale. Therefore, in this case, before conducting ANOVA, we can check normality as well as homogeneity, right? So this is the data view. This is the code of promotion. We have written sometimes 1, we have written sometimes 3. So 3 types of promotional activities were carried on by the organization, and we have also estimated the cells as the effect of promotion. So record it here are 30 observations. So now we will conduct normality as well as homogeneity. We are not conducting it, right? Our time, the same process. Okay, I'm just showing it, but I will not explain it. Just you go to descriptive statistics, then you go to then dependent, then function factor, then going to parts, going to normality, normality, and for homogeneity untransformed, continue. Okay, right. So we will get the ANOVA result from the normality. High promotion value is 0.20, medium promotion 0.20, low promotion 0.20. All these values are greater than 0.05. Therefore, our data set is normal. We will check only the based on mean. The is also 0.20, that is 0.201, that is greater than 0.05. That means our data set is homogeneous. Therefore, our test is appropriate. So now we'll go analyze for conducting ANOVA. So we are comparing means. The one way ANOVA is there. Comparing means, one way ANOVA is there. Click the dependent list. That means only the cells. It will be placed to the dependent list. Then promotion. It will come onto factor, right? Because there are 3 promotion categories. Now, then post hoc test. I will say why post hoc test here. Go to post hoc, then select any one. But the most common test is Bonferroni. You remember this? Bonferroni. Then options. You can also check for descriptive statistics. And if you wish to check, then you can also graphically check of different 3 groups. Then continue. Then okay. Yeah. So what you are observing, descriptive statistics, we have observed here 3 different types of mean. One is for the high promotion group, the mean value is 93.70, medium promotion 67.90, and low promotion 40.60, right? And whether our model is fit or not, whether ANOVA model is fit or not, how can we check it? Now only you have to observe the value of A and its p-value. Again, I'm saying whether analysis of variance model is fit for our data set or not. For confirming this, we must report the p-value of f. Here the value is 662.40. This is not very much important, but the important is the p-value of it. So p-value it implies that our model is fit, and we can also say that yes, there is a significant difference among various groups, that is high promotion, medium promotion, and low promotion. So up to ANOVA, ANOVA can tell you only whether the difference exists or not. But where the difference exists, if you want to observe it, then ANOVA result is not sufficient. Apart from ANOVA result, you must observe the post hoc test. Again, I am repeating, ANOVA can only tell you whether the model for your data is fit or not. Second thing is that, is there any significant difference? If the probability value is significant, that yes, there is a significant difference among the groups. That means first group, second group, and third group. But ANOVA cannot tell you whether the difference exists between, listen minutely, between 1 and 2 group, 1 and 3 group, 2 and 3. So there might be the 3 possibility. So that difference is coming. So where is the reason why this difference is coming? That's why we conduct post hoc test, and very popular post hoc test is Faroni test. That's why here you have to report the result of Faroni. And in case of Faroni test, on what we are observing, the high promotion and medium promotion, we are comparing 2 groups, high promotion and medium promotion, the probability value is significant. That means difference is there between high promotion and medium promotion. Again, there is difference also from the Bonferroni test. High promotion and low promotion, although we are getting the p-value is significant, that means it implies that the difference exists at all the levels, all the 3 levels. That means first group, third group, second group versus third group. So we can say that yes, promotion, it has some sort of significant effect on the cells of an organization. And if we go to this value, because we have given another option, the means plot for graphical inspection, when low promotion is there, sales is very low, but when medium promotion, sales value is increasing. When high promotion has been conducted by the organization, then we are observing the maximum. So from the visual inspection, we may assert that there is a significant difference among the groups, and the promotional activity is very important activity which can influence the sales of an organization. In this way, on the basis of this value, on the basis of the pictorial diagram, you thesis or in your paper, right? So this is all total ANOVA. Now I will discuss on repeated measures ANOVA, and after that I will take some question. Discuss repeated measures ANOVA. Repeated measures ANOVA. Now I'm just giving you one example, then it will be clear. In case of paired sample t-test, we observe 2 times. But in case of repeated measures ANOVA, we will observe the things more than 2 times. At least, just I have taken a hypothetical example. These are the weight, initial weight of 15 patients, 15 patients. Patients who are suffering from obesity problem, and we are giving them some treatment, yoga treatment, and after 1 month we have measured their weight. Then after 2 months again we have measured their weight, and after 3 months again we have measured their weight, right? Now here for our simplicity purpose, we have taken a 15 result. But in real sense, the result might be the respondents of 1,000, 2,000. In big study, it might be the 10,000, right? So in that case, only from visual inspection, we cannot report anything. In that case, statistical test should be applied. So, yes, we will apply repeated measure ANOVA because we observe more than 2 times. More than 2 times. That's why we will conduct repeated ANOVA in order to confirm that whether the yoga or the exercise, it has become very much effective to reduce the weight of the patients who are suffering from obesity problem. So for this purpose, we are selecting the analysis option. So in this case, one thing you must remember, in this case, there is no category, all are continuous data. Therefore, we can only check the normality, not homogeneity, right? Not checking the normality again and again. Just directly I am going to conduct the repeated measures ANOVA. From repeated measures ANOVA, we have to select this option. You remember this, general linear model. Because if you select compare mean, then there is no option of repeated measures ANOVA. So come to this option, general linear model. Then come to this option, repeated measures. Now taking just weight, we are taking for weight, so you can just write weight. Not a problem if you do not write anything over here, but for your understanding purpose, because we are dealing with weight. And how many levels? 4 levels are there. This is the initial level, as third and fourth level. Add it, and all values, all variables will take, pressing the controls sign, then we'll take variables here. After that, all variables, then go to add variable to within box. More, no need to specify any model. Contrast, here you will select repeated measures, change, then OK, and continue. You may choose, various options are there. You will take these 2 options, display means for, compare main effects, descriptive statistics, anything you can take, transformations matrix, as per your choice. Okay. Yes. So many results we have got. So what results we have to report? Will not report, will not inspect all the tables. Whatever the tables are necessary for our reporting purpose, that has to be checked. First, we have to report descriptive statistics. And we have computed 4 means. First time the mean was 102.80. The second time mean was 93.80. Third time 85. Times 69. So what we are observing, that is gradually the mean value is decreasing. So we can say that the exercise or the yoga, it has become effective. Now, from this table, we are just observing it, but statistically we have to prove. So for the statistics, we'll just inspect the multivariate test table, and what we are observing, all the results, statistical results, Wilks lambda. This is the very popular statistical method, Wilks lambda, and here the Wilks lambda value, what we are observing, this is significant, and all the values of other substitute statistics of Wilks lambda, these are also significant. These are also significant. Therefore, we can say, yes, there is a significant difference. There is a significant difference. There is some effect of yoga or exercise on the reductions of weight of the patients. So you have to inspect the matchless test of sphericity instead of homogeneity in case of repeated measures, and only you have to report this result, Mosley's test of sphericity, whether it is significant or not. So Mosley's, generally the Mosley's test of sphericity, this value must be greater than 0.0, but in our case it is less than 0.05. So in this case we will also report the other values, that is the greenhouse gaseous effect and Hunsfeld effect, and we take the average of these two values, and we will observe that the average of these two values, whether it is coming greater than 0.5 or not. Again I am repeating, 0.5, not 0.05, 0.5 or not. If it is coming 0.5, that means 0.50, obviously it is coming 0.5, then we can say that the homogeneity is there in the data set. Another is the test of within effects. All this F value, what we have observed here, all this F value, different types of test, these are also significant. So it confirms that the exercise, it has some positive effect on the reductions of weight of patients. In this way, you have to report the value in your paper or thesis, right? So now I will take some question, and after that discuss MANOVA, because this is a multivariate analysis, and obviously when I take the session, basically I discuss ANOVA, and after that ANCOVA, then MANOVA, then MANCOVA. So some sort of chronological order is missing over here. So although I will discuss on MANOVA, right? So okay, I will take some question.
Yes, sir. Sir, the first question after this session is from Sushila Sharma. She is asking, please tell about the alternate non-parametric test of one-way and two-way ANOVA.
Very, very good question. You complete answer. I have told you in independent t-test, substitute test is Mann-Whitney U-test. Mann-Whitney U-test. In case of paired sample t-test, test. So one is Mann-Whitney test. Another substitute test is Wilcoxon test. In ANOVA, whether it is one-way or two-way, the substitute test is Kruskal-Wallis test. You just note down this point, Kruskal-Wallis test. And in case of repeated measures ANOVA, we must use Friedman test. We must use Friedman test. Okay, next question.
Yes, sir. And Dr. Kuheli, for ANOVA, there should always be more than two groups. Is it, sir?
Yes, yes. In case of, this is the difference between t-test and ANOVA. In case of t-test, we are considering two groups at a time, and in case of ANOVA, at least the presence of three groups is required. If there are four groups, no problem. But if there are two groups, then we will opt for t-test. We will not go for ANOVA.
Sir, Kavita Dixit wants to know the interaction effect through ANOVA.
Yes, interaction if through ANOVA is possible. We can also take the effect of main effect, because in our 2 ANOVA we have not shown right now here. We can show the main effect. We can also show the interaction effect. Both effects can be measured through SPSS in case of ANOVA. One is the main effect, another is
Sir, there has been an interlacking question. Some participants want to know difference between two-way ANOVA and chi-square.
Yes, difference between, very important question, the difference between two-way ANOVA and chi-square test. Again, I am saying, don't confuse chi-square test with other test. When all the variables are categorical, but when we are considering ANOVA, one dependent, that is the continuous variable, must be there. So in that case, there is a difference between chi-square and whether it is one way, whether it is two-way ANOVA or anything else, right? Yeah.
Sir, the next question is, which scale should be used for ANOVA?
Repeat, madam.
Sir, which scale to be used for ANOVA?
Yeah. Very good question. So we have already shown two results. One is one-way ANOVA, and we have also conducted repeated measures ANOVA. Again, I am repeating. In case of one-way ANOVA, one variable is categorical in nature because we are going to compare the means. Therefore, classification is must. If we do not classify, then there is no meaning of comparison, right? One variable must be categorical. That means must be grouping. That means must be nominal, right? There are so many names. It must be categorical. It must be nominal. It must be nominal scale or group scale or categorical scale, anything, but the meaning is same. And another side, we are considering one scale, that means interval or ratio scale. So obviously, in this case, we are using ANOVA, right? Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I think we can proceed with the session.
Yeah. So I will discuss about ANOVA, but the one should be very clear to us in what situation ANOVA is applicable. Why we are not considering ANOVA, we are considering MANOVA. Sometimes we are considering MANCOVA. Sometimes we are considering ANCOVA. So many varieties are there. Very fine or very fine tuning differences are there. So being a researcher, we must understand it. In case of ANOVA, again I'm saying, in case of ANOVA, one variable was dependent. One variable was dependent. So in our example, salary was dependent, right? And the categorical variable was male teachers, female teachers, transgender teachers, in this way. But when we are saying MANOVA, so one extra letter is there. ANOVA. Another is MANOVA. M is there. Extra. So M stands for multivariate. So we are considering not univariate. Up to ANOVA, we are considering one dependent variable at a time. But when we are considering the applications of MANOVA, we are considering more than one dependent variable. Right? Just I'm giving you one example. One is salary. And another is, suppose, the stress level. The level of stress we have measured by asking some questions. So one is level of stress, another salary, and another side we are taking gender. Now we are comparing the impact of gender on salary and impact of gender on stress also. Right. So we are considering, again I'm saying, we are considering two dependent variables at a time in case of MANOVA. But in case of ANOVA, at a time, we have to consider one dependent variable. Factors may be one or two or three in case of ANOVA, but the dependent variable must be one. But in case of MANOVA, the uniqueness is there. In case of MANOVA, two dependent variable must be considered. And another side, one categorical variable will be there. If we are considering two-way MANOVA, then two categorical variable will be there. So I am just taking one example. This is very that. This is MANOVA. Yeah. So what type of data it is? One is categorical. One is categorical, right? No doubt. Suppose there are two groups, and we are considering two dependent parameters. We have measured empathy. Another type we have measured perspective, as well as perspective of female. We have also measured the empathy, level of empathy of male, level of empathy of female. So these two are dependent, and one is gender. So it is a case of two variable. That means two variable. So it is a case of MANOVA, multivariate analysis. So in case of multivariate analysis, just our command will be then general then right multivariate. So I will discuss only 2 or 3 minutes, so no need to the annotation. Analyze general linear model, then multivariate. What box is there? Dependent variable. There are two dependent variable. One is empathy and we are in the dependent box. And gender, it is fixed factor. Gender, it is fixed factor. Go to, just directly go to options. Right? Now, we'll take this, if we want to take display means for, then we can take option descriptive statistics, or you can use transformation matrix, or nothing more. This continue. So this is the descriptive statistics. In case of empathy dependent variable, male female classifications have been made. Mean of male is 27.70, and in case of female is 29.40. And in case of the perspective taking of male, the mean is 22.60 and the female is 26.70. So difference is there, but we have to statistically prove whether exactly difference is there or not. So directly we'll come to the multivariate test. This is the table of Manova, right? So Manova is nothing but the amalgamations of Anova. So Anova result, it has been also reflected below. So first I am focusing on multivariate test, that is the results of Manova. What we are observing, Wills lambda, here this statistics is very important. Wills lambda, T's value is not significant. We are observing the difference, little difference, but these differences are not significant. Therefore, we can say that the empathy, level of empathy of male as well as the perspective taking of male as well as female, both are same. There is no difference because the value lambda is not significant, and other substitute statistics p-value, these are not also significant. Therefore, from the multivariate test table, we can say that there is no significant difference between empathy as well as perspective taking between male as well as female. And you have to report, but the same thing will be reflected by ANOVA, because I have already told you that MANOVA means single ANOVA 2 times. One is for empathy, one ANOVA, and another is for perspective, another ANOVA. So if you conduct 2 ANOVA, then it is equivalent to 1 MANOVA, right? So separately we are not conducting ANOVA. So at a time we are considering 2 dependent parameter. Therefore we are choosing MANOVA option. So just you say here, test of between subject effects. This is gender, empathy, and this is the perspective. Again, what we are observing here, the values are not also significant. So from the values are not also significant, as well as from the MANOVA table, the Wills lambda or other statistical value, these are also not significant. Therefore, we can confirm that there is no significant difference of empathy as well as perspective, these 2 aspects between male and female. That means the level of empathy in case of male and female, there is no difference. In case of the perspective taking, there is also no difference between male and female counterpart. So if opportunity or time permits me, then I can take 2 or 3 questions from the participants. And another thing is that my request is you can also consult of my book, Research Methodology for Social Sciences, which has been published by international publication Sage, London. You may also consult with that textbook. Thank you. Madam, please.
Yes, yes.
Question,
Thank
please.
you, sir. Research Methodology for Social Sciences is the name of the book that sir has prescribed. Sir, we had only one question here, a difference between Manova and Ankova by Samuel Biswas, and immediately another participant answered that. So I think
Yeah.
we have no more questions as such. You have actually gone to such a details and it was such a lucid presentation. We now know why Dr. Biswas is a name in the field of SPSS. Now, be it the chi test or the t test, the ANOVA, MANOVA, anything, you have dealt in such wonderful graphic details. It seems that there has not been a division of the screen even. We are sitting in front of you and you are taking a consecutive class. If I'm not mistaken, then you have spoken for about 2 hours, sir, or even a few minutes more. And may I tell you, from the response of the participant, I can tell that from the very first minute to the last second, you have been able to hold everyone's attention to the fullest. That is really a massive, massive, what do I say, achievement for the part of a teacher. Thank you so much. It has been very enlightening, very informative. Most important, a very informative session, edifying too. All our participants are constantly thanking you, constantly thanking you. If you can see the chat box, you would see accolades and appreciations coming your way. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It was a pleasure hearing you. We hope to hear you also in future. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Your insight is mind-blowing, sir.
আরে থ্যাংক ইউ থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার ভালো থাকবেন সবাই
আপনিও 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 ভালো থাকবেন
আবার সুযোগ পেলে আসবো ঠিক
একদম স্যার আমরা সুযোগ পেলে নিয়ে আসবো
ঠিক আমার ও না আমার বইটা আমাজনে সবসময় অ্যাভেলেবল আমার কাছেও আছে আমি যদি ফিজিক্যালি দেখা হয় নিশ্চয়ই আপনাকেও দিয়ে দেবো
Sir, who is publication? Sir, who is publication?
Sage publication.
Sage publication, London. Yes.
Sage publication.
হ্যাঁ আর ওদের যদি
আমরা একটা আমাদের নিজস্ব লাইব্রেরিতে রাখবো আমাদের কলেজে
নিশ্চয়ই ম্যাডাম এটা অনেক জায়গাতে পড়ানো হয় এবং বাইরেও পড়ানো হয় ইউএসএ তেও পড়ানো হয় তো ঠিক আছে ম্যাডাম থ্যাংক ইউ ভালো থাকবেন সবাই
আপনিও ভালো থাকবেন Okay, a few tips for our participants. Till yesterday, we have uploaded more or less all the lectures in our YouTube channel, and the link has been provided to you either in the WhatsApp group or has been mailed to you. I keep on seeing the chats coming, and the chat box is getting filled up with. Yes, we will do it. It's getting filled up with expectations that we are going to upload this particular session very soon. We would definitely do it as fast as possible. Okay, and a gentle reminder, please connect us tomorrow with your laptop or your desktop, as you might be assigned some practical things to be done. And do contact Dr. Mondol for your participation in the cultural program. So today it's time for the curtain to fall. It's time we say goodbye. Our program starts tomorrow at the same time, round about 5 p.m. After 2 speakers tomorrow, we will be embarking on our long-awaited cultural program, a relief from this tremendous strain that all of you are going through, though this is a learning process. And see you again tomorrow. Would like to end on a note that may the spirit of learning in you never cease to exist. Keep learning, keep knowing, keep conquering the world. Okay, my dear friends, good night and God bless. Thank you.
Hello.
হ্যাঁ বলুন হ্যাঁ
Hello? Hello?
দিলীপ স্যার বলুন। শোনা যাচ্ছে না,
শোনা যাচ্ছে।
বলুন।
হ্যাঁ, আগামীকাল দুজন স্পিকার আছে, আমি বলে দিয়েছি। দুজন স্পিকার আছে, তারপরে আমাদের কালচারাল প্রোগ্রাম। হ্যাঁ, তিনজন আছেন। আচ্ছা আচ্ছা। So we have 3 speakers tomorrow, after which we'll be embarking on our cultural program, say about from 7:15 onwards, perhaps, or 7:30. So meet you then again. Okay, goodbye.